The camera glides low over evergreen heights, drone shot, slow motion, late afternoon sun bleeding amber across identical rooftops, kids' laughter echoing like wind chimes. Then, brop, a white Lexus GX tears the Serenity in half, chrome grille flashing like a predator's grin, tires kissing my cracked asphalt driveway before it disappears into my garage, doors still yawning open like a shocked mouth. And I, Ethan Brooks, 35, divorce still raw as an open wound, standing barefoot on the porch in yesterday's t-shirt, coffee cooling in a chipped mug Grandma Rose bought at a 72-yard sale. Watch this stranger claim my sacred space like she's planting a flag on the moon. She steps out. Linda Hargrove, 53, going on Imperial. HOA treasurer for 9 merciless years, hair so lacquered it could survive re-entry. Designer sunglasses reflecting my stunned face back at me. Clipboard clutched like the 10 Commandments. Heels, click, 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 across my concrete. Each step a declaration of war. Emergency board meeting. She tosses over one cashmere shoulder, not even glancing back. Your driveway was closest. Ethan, try to be community-minded. Closest? Lady, I moved in 72 hours ago. Still have boxes labeled kitchen, maybe, and divorce. Burn later stacked to the rafters. And now your luxury tank is squatting where Grandpa Walt once rebuilt carburetors while humming My Way off-key, grease under his nails, stories about Normandy between spark plug gaps, and I need my torque wrenches for a client gig in 4 hours. But sure, park away, Your Majesty. Make yourself at home in my childhood. 6 hours. 6 full hours. I pace Grandma's kitchen, linoleum cool under my feet. Photo of her on the windowsill, eyes sharp as ever. The ones that stared down city council in '87 to get speed bumps installed after Timmy Alvarez got clipped by a speeding teen, and I feel her whisper through the steam of my third coffee. Boy, you gonna let her walk over you in your own house? I reschedule the job, lose $200, watch the sun crawl across the wall. Every tick of Grandma's Old West clock's a countdown to something I can't name yet. Finally, at dusk, the Lexus purrs out. No apology. Just Linda's perfume cloud lingering like chemical warfare, floral and expensive and wrong, mixing with the ghost of WD-40 and cedar shavings. And I swear the garage smells violated, the air thick with entitlement. And I know, deep in the marrow Grandma left me. This ain't over. This is just the opening salvo. Next morning, dew still kissing the grass, I find 4 neon pink violation stickers plastered across my front door like crime scene tape, curling slightly in the humidity. Mailbox hue non-compliant with evergreen palette guideline 4.2, $75. Window treatments exceeding opacity threshold by 12%, $75. Trash receptacle positioned 3.7 inches beyond covenant plane, $75. Unauthorized lawn ornament, Grandma's ceramic frog, Mr. Ribbit, smiling since 1998, $75. Each one signed in Linda's calligraphy perfect cursive, ending with a tiny winking emoji that feels like a slap with a manicured hand. I'm on my second coffee, heart jackhammering, when the evergreen HOA portal loads on my laptop, slow as molasses, and, plot twist, board policy requires majority vote before any citation. Yet every one of these is solo signed by Treasurer Hargrove. No vote, no record, just her royal decree. I dial the management company, hold music like a dental drill mixed with elevator jazz. Finally reach Marla, voice like warm bourbon and cigarette regret, who sighs, honey, she's been freelancing fines for years, we just rubber stamp, assuming board approval. But you didn't hear that from me, and request receipts, girl pockets cash like it's bingo night. Invalid citations, possible embezzlement, and suddenly Mr. Ribbit feels like a revolutionary with a ceramic grin. That afternoon the Lexus returns, slides into my garage again. Smooth as a shark, Linda steps out, slaps a new note on my truck windshield. Continued non-cooperation will be noted in your permanent resident file. Community standards benefit all. Permanent file? What is this, the CIA? The DMV? Middle school? But I'm ready, because the day I moved in, paranoia still fresh from the divorce. I slapped 4K cameras around the property, night vision, cloud backup, motion alerts pinging my phone like angry bees, and now I have timestamped proof of trespass number 2. Her storing HOA binders on my shelf next to Grandpa's vintage license plates. 1964 Illinois, 1968 Michigan. Each one a story he told me while teaching me to change oil. And I feel the tide turning, slow, glacial, but turning, the way. Grandma's eyes crinkled when she knew she'd won a fight before it started. I sit in her old recliner that night, leather cracked like desert floor, still smelling faintly of white shoulders and Bengay. Laptop glowing, security footage looping, Linda's Lexus gliding in and out like a bad habit. And I whisper to the empty room, "You picked the wrong garage, lady." 3 days later, Linda unleashes the Covenant Crusaders, her flying monkeys in Lululemon and Judgment. Deborah circles my lawn with a soil pH tester, declares my Bermuda irregularly verdant, takes selfies with my dandelions like they're war criminals. Valerie measures my porch light with a metal ruler, announces it casts non-compliant lumens and shadows that psychologically distress passers-by. Susan photographs Mr. Ribbit from 17 angles, lies flat on the grass like she's shooting for National Geographic, muttering about aesthetic degradation. By noon, I'm drowning in another $225 of pink paper, each stamped with Linda's imperial seal. But I'm not raging. I'm recruiting, because revenge is a dish best served with a side of documentation and a neighborhood that's been waiting 9 years for a spark. First comes Mrs. Alvarez, 81, cane tapping like a war drum, drops a binder on my table thick as a phone book, 2 decades of fines for wind chimes that exceeded decibel covenants, for a Virgin Mary statue that violated cultural neutrality, for excessive marigolds because yellow is aggressive. Total north of $4,000 she paid because her late husband, Mr. Emilio, feared foreclosure, his hands shaking as he wrote checks while Linda stood on their porch like a debt collector from hell. Then the Martinez family, Javier and Sofia, their twins Luna and Mateo, banned from sidewalk chalk because temporary graffiti degrades curb appeal. $250 for hopscotch squares that washed away in one ring. Then Sergeant Dan Carver, 66, Purple Heart, service dog buddy, cited for unauthorized water receptacle because his stainless steel bowl reflected sunlight in a manner hazardous to drivers. We meet in Grandma's living room, dust motes dancing in slanted light, coffee brewing in the same percolator she used for bridge club, the one that gurgles like an old friend, and I lay out the masterstroke I found at 3:17 a.m. between property statutes and cold pepperoni pizza. Adverse possession light, involuntary bailment, landlord-tenant law triggered by repeated unauthorized use plus storage of chattels. In plain English, Linda has accidentally become my tenant, owes back rent, late fees. And if she doesn't pay, I can lock the garage with her Lexus inside under a statutory landlord's lien, because the law says if you treat someone's property like your own long enough, you pay for it. Rick, my attorney buddy who still owes me for purging ransomware from his firm last Christmas, laughs so hard coffee comes out his nose. Ethan, she gift-wrapped you a legal nuke, and it's got her fingerprints all over it. We price local storage units, $175 a month for a 10 by 20, prorate Linda's 9 weeks of squatting, tack on utilities, inconvenience, emotional distress. Rick says we can't, but we dream. Boom, for $125 owed, but Rick says round down to $400 to look reasonable in court, because juries love round numbers and hate bullies. I upgrade cameras to 4K with audio, set cloud alerts. Neighbors form a group chat called Operation Frog Liberation. Mrs. Alvarez suggests we add a frog emoji to every message, and we wait, hearts pounding like bass at a block party. Linda goes thermonuclear, calls city zoning, claims I'm running an unlicensed auto repair empire. Inspector Ramirez shows up. I hand him 1964 permits, original blueprints signed by Grandpa's shaky hand. He leaves shaking his head at Linda's fabrications, muttering people got too much time. Reports my cameras as surveillance violating neighbor privacy. Code enforcement laughs her off, says Ring doorbells are legal, ma'am. Dials the fire marshal alleging flammable storage. They find only her own boxes of vinyl banners labeled Evergreen Halloween Parade 2019, 2020, 2021, a shrine to her own ego. Each swing she takes carves her grave deeper, and the neighborhood watches, popcorn ready, group chat exploding with memes of Linda's face on Game of Thrones dragons. Tuesday, 9:12 a.m., certified mail pings delivered, inside. Notice of involuntary tenancy and demand for payment. $400 due in 7 days. Legal letterhead. Rick's signature like a guillotine. 43 minutes later, the Lexus fishtails into my driveway. Linda storms the porch, face the color of Merlot, sunglasses pushed up like a crown. This is extortion. I'll have you arrested. I'll. Words failing her like a bad Wi-Fi signal in a storm. I hit record on my phone. Smile like customer service on Xanax. State law says otherwise. 27 documented entries. Personal property stored. See you in small claims or pay the rent. Your choice, ma'am. She threatens, blusters, promises immigration raids on the Martinezes, promises to make your life hell. All on 4K with timestamps. Then peels out, tires squealing like a banshee with a parking ticket. 5 days of chaos. Fake complaints to animal control about Buddy. Officer shows up, pets Buddy, leaves with a treat. Midnight driveway circles photographing license plates. Mrs. Alvarez films from her porch, uploads to the group chat titled Karen After Dark. Emergency HOA meeting called to address resident terrorism. Flyers taped to every door like propaganda. The community center is packed, standing room only. Local reporter Talia Reid in the back, camera ready, smell of burnt coffee and righteous anger. And Linda takes the dais like Caesar, hair still perfect, but eyes wild. Ethan Brooks is extorting board members, undermining property values. We must act. I stand, Rick beside me, briefcase pregnant with evidence. May I rebut? Board member Patricia Martinez, no relation to Javier, nods, bylaws on her side. Resident right to speak, section 12.4. Linda's smile curdles. I play the greatest hits. Linda's meltdown with the housing inspector, he doesn't belong here, in 4K. Immigration threats, crystal clear. Mrs. Alvarez with her binder, pages flipping like a horror movie. Javier with chalk photos, Luna's hopscotch galaxy. Dan with Buddy sitting proud, tongue lolling like he knows he's the star. The room erupts, neighbors standing one by one. A tidal wave of receipts, until Linda is drowning in her own pink paper, face cycling through every shade of red in the evergreen palette guideline. Motion to suspend Treasurer Hargrove. Unanimous minus her own trembling hand. And Rick drops the mic. Payment due midnight or we file Monday. Clock's ticking. Linda. 11:51 p.m. Soft knock. I open to find Linda deflated, hair escaping its fortress, envelope shaking in her manicured fingers for crisp hundreds. Take it. I'm listing the house. Moving to Arizona. You win. Just let me go. No apology, just the hollow echo of heels retreating, Lexus purring away into the night, tail lights fading like a bad sequel nobody asked for. Epilogue smells like barbecue smoke and fresh-cut grass. Audit finds Linda skimmed $6,200 in fake fines, every dollar refunded with interest. Mrs. Alvarez plants a new rose garden named Emilio's Revenge. Luna and Mateo draw hopscotch galaxies that stay for weeks. Buddy gets a water bowl shaped like the Marine Corps emblem, engraved Semper Fi, Karen. We throw the first evergreen Unity Fest, kids screaming on a playground built where Linda once banned laughter. Javier's barbacoa, so good grown men cry. Talia Reid writes a follow-up titled, How One Frog Started a Revolution. I launch HOWarrior.com, helping strangers flip the script on tyrants nationwide. Inbox full of You Saved My Sanity, and Mr. Ribbit is my hero. Every morning I still have coffee in Grandma's kitchen, photo on the sill, but now her smile looks prouder, the garage smells of possibility again, and every time I back my truck and I whisper, We kept the castle, Graham. Closure complete. Now, internet jury, let's talk. Was locking her car for 5 days proportional justice? Or did I cross into vigilante territory? Is weaponizing obscure landlord law against a serial bully righteous ingenuity or dangerous precedent? When the system fails, how far is too far to reclaim your own driveway, your own peace, your own grandmother's legacy? Drop your verdict below. I read every syllable. And if a clipboard Karen is terrorizing your block, DM me, because some garages, some frogs, some grandmas are worth fighting for.